Microdose, yeah, Microdose. Hosted by Kush and Robyn Seto. Talking the talk, cause they got things for you to know. Let's go party with Miss Robyn in the games on Cameo. Yeah, Microdose, Microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose, dose. Microdose, Microdose, dose, dose. What gets this next? Go and take a guess. No matter who it is, every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. Every episode's the best. If you disagree, you're crazy, simple as chess. Microdose, 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 microdose.
What's good, y'all? Kush of the North Star here. Kush Hayes here, coming to you with another edition of the Microdose. This is a special event we got going on tonight. With me, as always, is Robyn Seto. Miss Robyn, if you're nasty. How you doing tonight, Robyn?
I'm feeling fine. I ain't got wine. I got a good beer going though, so I'm feeling fine.
Looking fine, Robyn. Feeling fine. I'm having a great day too. I'm super pumped about today because today we're talking to someone that I've had my eye on for a while now. I've been watching their YouTube channel. It's very, very informative. It's the information is just thrown right at you. The host never makes it about himself, and he seems to just enjoy the art of the game. I'm definitely talking about Cecil Trachenburg, and we're talking about good bad flicks. Cecil, what's good, man? How you doing? Thank you for coming. Am I saying your name correctly? Even
yeah, it's okay. Believe me, it gets mispronounced. My name gets destroyed all over the place. It's Cecil Trachenburg.
Cecil Trachenburg, excuse me. Oh my God.
It is perfectly okay. You are not the first, and you certainly will not be the last.
What's terrible about that is we were only talking off air 2 minutes ago, and I should have totally clarified that. But Cecil, thank you very much for being on the show tonight, man.
You are very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So I discovered you about 6+ years ago. Now that we're in 2021, I was walking home from work. It's got to be the winter because it's after hours. It's nighttime now. I'm only a few blocks from home, and I'm listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. He has to be talking to Kevin Pereira because G4 suddenly comes up, and they say they mention this G4 documentary. Now, whether they were talking about your documentary or someone else's, when I got home, hit the Apple TV and plugged in G4 doc, it was your feed that came up because it's fascinating documentary, nice, tight 24 minutes, lots of stuff that I didn't know whatsoever, and I consider myself a very avid G4 watcher. But then YouTube doing what it does, it just rolled into another video, and all of a sudden I heard, good, bad, flicks. And I don't even know what video it was, but it just, all of a sudden just I started going down your playlist, down the rabbit hole, if you will, and it's some of the most entertaining stuff I've seen. I'm a sucker for knowledge and trivia that will never be used for anything, but I specifically love movie trivia. I love details behind the scenes, all that good stuff. You've been doing this for a while now. Now your YouTube only goes to about 10 years ago, but from an interaction you and I actually had once upon a time ago on Twitter, there was a whole other feed that you used to have. Well,
it started in March of 2010 on a site called blip.tv. It actually was originally supposed to start on December of 2009, but I'm really, really, really nitpicky, and I have a tendency to kind of get into the minutia of things. I kind of go a little bit too far, and which I guess to my credit is why I'm employed doing this now, because I really go into, you know, the fine details of things. But when I was working on my first video, it was for a movie called Don't Open Till Christmas. And my thought process was that I would put it out at Christmas. And then by the time I finally got around to it, it was a Christmas episode that came out in March. So, so yeah, my first 36 videos I did on Blip TV. And then after that, I could see that Blip was kind of not really going anywhere. Blip was getting trounced by YouTube. And so I started to transition over to YouTube, and my 37th video, Time Rider, and that ended up being my first YouTube video. And so I was cross-publishing them. I was putting them on Blip and putting them on YouTube. And it became very clear that YouTube was going to be my home, because I'd put the videos up on Blip and I'd get single digits views. I put them up on YouTube and I was getting hundreds and sometimes thousands. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is a massive difference here. And the audience kind of grew from there.
Does Blip TV even exist anymore? Because I remember Blip always being the debate about it's got the better resolution than YouTube, and I was like, but YouTube's actually like posting numbers that I need for reports and blah 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 blah.
Blip, I don't remember exactly when. I think it was around maybe 2012 or 2013. Blip got bought by a company called Maker. Maker is one of the MCNs within YouTube. And everybody initially was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then Disney bought Maker. And you had a lot of people that were super excited. Oh my God, Disney bought Maker. This is awesome. Now, the biggest guy on Blip at the time was the Nostalgia Critic. He hadn't gone over to YouTube yet. He was on Blip. And so you had all these people were like, oh my God, this is awesome, because now that Disney owns Blip, they're going to officially license Disney-cember, which is something that Doug does. Man. Really, if you were looking at it from the business perspective of things, you knew that Disney had no idea that they bought Blip. Like, Blip was something that came along in the deal. Like, they bought Maker, and it just so happened that they acquired Blip. And that became readily apparent a couple of months later as people stopped getting revenue checks, and the Blip used to have like promoted stuff. Like, they would have, the promoted video of the day or whatever. And they were the same videos for months and then years where they hadn't changed anything. And anytime you would send an email out, you just never got a response. There was nobody at the wheel driving this thing. And eventually, after all of their contract negotiations ran out, because Blip had a lot of contracts with some of the people that did videos for like better ad revenue and that sort of stuff. But once all their contracts were done, they took it out in the backyard and shot it. It was just like, they're like, hey, you've got 5 days and Blip is shutting down. And all these people were, oh my God, I had no idea. Meanwhile, I'm like, you didn't see this coming? Now, there were a lot of people who were on top of this. You had, again, going back to the Nostalgia Critic, he was already poised to go to YouTube. Then Cinema Snob was another one. He was able to kind of just move over to YouTube. And there were a lot of other people that were primarily on Blip, because Blip was a little more relaxed on their copyright stuff, which is why a lot of people were over there to begin with. And also, they had a pretty good ad revenue deal in the beginning, like I said, but then once Disney bought it, they still owe, well, I'll never see it, but they owed me like a couple $100. And I was just like, well, I ain't ever seeing that money. But whatever,
That's amazing. So just broad question here on YouTube. When it comes to ad revenue, are you making beer money, or are you making rent money on this? Again, you've been doing this for a long time now.
Yeah, I mean, I just did my 10th anniversary, so it was, it's really exciting. In the beginning, I seriously made like nothing. I don't think for the first 4 years I did it, I seriously made next to nothing. Actually, I'd say probably the first 2 years I made nothing. And then my first check was for $25, because $25 was the threshold. And then I was making like a little bit, I was essentially making beer money. And then I actually was doing well. And then the adpocalypse happened at YouTube, and everybody suffered from that. So now, because of a combination of my YouTube ad revenue and my Patreon, I am doing well. I could always do better. But I mean, as long as I have enough money to pay the rent, to buy groceries, life stuff, then I'm good.
That's amazing.
So between YouTube and Patreon, I am, I'm not living comfortably, but I'm not eating ramen noodles every day.
Okay. Do you have a day job? Is there a side job? Are you freelance? What's your deal?
No, this is I do this full time, and I do if anything is my side job, I do Twitch on the side. So Twitch, I had kind of been teetering with them for a couple of years. A few years ago, they allowed affiliates. So you could kind of join in and you would get some of the perks of like not full-on partnership. Like full-on partnership, you get all kinds of stuff. But with affiliate, you're allowed some of the ad revenue, and then you can get subscription money. Because to subscribe on Twitch, you have to pay. Like you can follow and that's free. But then if you want to subscribe, you pay. And so you get 50% of your subscription revenue. And so through that, through tips, people donating stuff on there, through bits and everything, make some extra bucks on there. And it's fun because it kind of gives me a little bit of a way to interact with the audience, because my videos aren't really interactive. And I know some people, they'll have a time where they'll put the video up and they'll talk to the audience while the video is running. And I'm like, well, I'm giving you so much information. It's like you pay attention to the video, you know, and if you want to talk to me on Twitter or whatnot. So I would do that. But then on Twitch, I was playing games and whatnot. And then this past year, they started to allow a thing called watch parties. And watch parties, what they do is, since Amazon owns Twitch, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can stream anything that is in the Prime catalog, and then your viewers can watch along. And if they have Amazon Prime, then they can, watch along like normal. But the workaround for that is if they don't have it, they'll still hear my voice, but they won't see the movie. But to kind of get around that, there's a website called Tubi, which is totally legal. And you can watch it on there. Or if you have the DVD, or if it's on YouTube or something, I'll do a countdown in the beginning, and then everybody kind of syncs up and we watch along. And so that kind of works for the people that don't have Prime, or there's a lot of people that watch from other countries where the movie is region locked. So they can't, they can't watch it that way. It's like I have Amazon Prime Germany, but this movie isn't, so they have to watch it through YouTube or Tubi or something. And that's been really great. I've had an audience that I love who they love to punish me. This past year in December, I very jokingly said that I would do a marathon of all 5 Twilight movies for 150 subs. Oh, wow. And I got, if you know what, if I would have known I would have gotten it, I would have said higher. But I got 150 subs. And so I spent 11 and a half hours watching Twilight. Okay. With a good audience. I mean, there were people that stayed there throughout the whole thing. So they suffered along with me. And we had a really good time. As much as I want to complain that, it's awful and everything, I had a really, really good time. Nice. With the exception of New Moon. New Moon was just painful. Okay. But the other movies, they were bad, but it was like there was enough material to kind of goof on and have fun with the audience. And, we talked about all kinds of stuff. So anyway, so that is kind of my side gig. I do YouTube full time, and then I do Twitch kind of as like my side piece, I call it.
Okay, nice. Now, so Good Bad Flicks is your full-time gig. Now, this show we're doing right now, it's going to be roughly 30 minutes one way or the other. It's going to take me about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours to edit, depending on how hard I lean into the sound effects. How long does it take you to edit a video? Because you're producing these on the average weekly, no matter if it's Good Bad Flicks or an exploring video or even the new Good Bad Games that's coming up soon.
Yeah, it really depends. On average, an episode of Good Bad Flicks, the one where I'm just kind of talking about the movie with a little, humor mixed in, they take me, on average, about a week to 2 weeks to produce, depending on how much in depth I go into it. The exploring episodes, God, they take forever. They just okay. The rule of thumb is usually an hour of editing per 1 minute of video, but with a lot of the additional stuff going in there, because I write, I record, I edit, I research, I do everything. So it takes a long time. And then a lot of times If it's one where I'm dealing directly with producer or a director or somebody who worked on the film, I usually will go back and forth with them, let them see the video ahead of time and be like, hey, did I pronounce everything correct? Did I screw anything up? And they come back, oh, this is awesome. Hey, I have a better picture for you. Could you put this in here? Could you do this? Could you fix this? Or maybe don't mention blah, 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 got arrested, little tidbits, little certain things that I've had to leave out because they asked it. But if it's one where I haven't talked in, like the episode I did for the Black Hole, I had been researching that one for about a year.
Wow.
And that one, it took so long because pretty much everyone involved is dead.
Okay.
Or everyone involved that would really have the information that I needed. So it was a lot of digging. It was a lot of looking at old articles. It was talking to film historians. It was just trying to get as much as I could on that. And then I think the longest one I ever worked on. Now, I wasn't working on this over the, all the time, but the Nothing But Trouble video took 6 years.
Whoa.
And that was simply because no one wanted to talk about it. That was a matter of I was contacting people and they were like, nope. Yeah, I either didn't get a response or just got a no thank you. And finally, I found some people that wanted to talk about it. And when they did, man, the floodgates opened and they were just like, look, they're like, I know a lot of people had a bad experience. Well, I know the money men had bad experiences with this film, but the people that actually worked on the film, the crew, they loved it. It was just, there was one guy who he's worked on huge movies, the Star Wars films. He worked on Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And he's like, this was the most exciting, fulfilling, enjoyable experience of my entire career. So I was working on that movie. And so I was like, well, this is a story that I want to get out there. And I was glad after all that time that I finally was able to get to it because I was giving up hope. Some of them I have to abandon because it's just, some people just don't want to talk about it. I had one movie that I really want to talk about, A Sound of Thunder. That movie had 11 producers. The director absolutely will not talk about it because it ruined his career.
Really?
I got half the story. One of the producers I was able to get a hold of who was fantastic. He gave me a ton of information. The problem was he worked on the movie from its incubation period all the way up to production. But what happened was when it was starting to get produced and made into a film, it was bought by another company. And so he was no longer involved. Okay. So his involvement goes all the way up to the movie being made. And so I'm like, okay, well, I have a great lead in. I just need to get the rest of the story. But the problem is I went down, there are all the other producers. And so far there's 2 that I'm holding out hope for that I might be able to get a hold of. And they're the only 2 that might be able to tell me the rest of the story. I hope so. But if not them, then I don't know. It's like, because I have half the story.
Cecil, I feel like we could do this for another 2.5 hours. I've got so many questions here on my post-it notes here. However, that music you're hearing in the background, that means it's time for the Robyn Seto cameo party.
Hey.
That's the Robyn Seto cameo party from IAmSoLoco, friend of the family, always giving us great stuff here. Robyn, what's going on with the game tonight? What's our theme?
Tonight's theme of Robyn Seto cameo party is special to our guest. It's the Cecil special is what I'm gonna call it.
Okay.
I like it. I feel special.
Yeah, there you go. So let's just roll into it.
We flipped a coin backstage. I called heads. It came up tails. Cecil, you're going first on this one.
First up, Bill Duke.
Wow. Bill's awesome. I never spoke to him personally, but he was in a friend of mine. Ollie Harper did a documentary called In Search of the Last Action Heroes.
Okay.
And he was one of the interviewees, and he was awesome. So yeah, I've heard, like, I saw some of the additional materials, and just he was a real class act, really really good guy. I'm gonna say $40 for a cameo.
Okay.
That's probably a pretty good guess. I got a feeling I'm going to overbid here. Bill Duke, not only is he a bad motherfucker, like he's a college professor as well, which college is escaping me as of this moment. But I know that he loves the craft. He's all about the art. He doesn't pick roles as much as he sculpts them. He's been in some of your favorite movies: Predator, Menace to Society. Like, you could just go on and on and on all these movies where he steals all of the scenes he's in. He's absolutely intimidating when he needs to be. I'm going to say Bill Duke's doing it for $250, and he's probably giving it to a charity on top of that.
Oh, what a nice sentiment. Well, it will cost $150 for a Bill Duke cameo. So, point for our guest.
Outstanding.
All right, okay.
I want a Bill Duke cameo, though.
Next, we have Eric Roberts.
Oof.
Older brother of Julia Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
Voice of Duffy the Cat from A Talking Cat?
A Talking Cat?
I don't know this movie, but I like that both of you do.
Oh, it's so, boy, you need to, at the very least, watch the trailer, and that, like, if that doesn't make you want to see the movie, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
But, it's Eric Roberts literally phoned in his performance, and by phoned in, I mean he called up and left all of his voice lines on the answering machine.
That's why they sound so shitty.
That's why they sound so shitty.
That's amazing.
I have a friend of a friend who worked with Mr. Roberts, who said that, again, absolute 100% professional. He was hired to work on this one movie. They needed him for a cameo, and he actually came out, and they, unfortunately, I don't remember the exact story because we're going back a few years, so this is kind of the rough translated version of the story. But essentially, they didn't have enough money to pay him, and he's like, "That's okay, just buy me breakfast." So they took him out to breakfast, and he did the scene, and so that's the kind of guy he is. He's one of those guys that he pops up in so many movies because he just loves acting. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like Nicolas Cage where he's broke and he bought a pyramid and he's still trying to pay it off. He's just somebody who really, really, really wants to just act. I would say it's probably on the higher side. I'm gonna say like $300.
That's probably a really good bet. Eric Roberts, yeah. What is this dude not amazing in? Like, even when he's the smallest part, I imagine even through the answering machine, he's the best part of that movie. Okay,
he gave a great performance on the answering machine.
Yeah. Me and Robyn Seto, obviously everyone knows him from everything they know him from. But combined, the two of us know him from DB Cooper versus Bigfoot.
Oh yeah,
where he's just a voiceover, probably an answering machine thing again. I'm gonna say I'm probably underbidding on this one, but I'm gonna say he's doing cameos for like $100. Yeah, he's a blue collar guy.
Wow. Well, for a humble $90, you can get an Eric Roberts cameo.
And graham crackers.
All right.
Are you kidding? Wow. That's a goose egg for both of us.
That is crazy because, like, when I think of somebody like him, like, I think that I mean, it's a lot of money, but he's somebody who's been around for a while, and his time is money. Mm-hmm. I just crack up when you get new people, like years and years ago when the first Thor movie. I'm sorry, I'm going all over here tonight. But I was at a Comic-Con when the first Thor movie came out, and they had Chris Hemsworth there, who at the time really nobody knew who he was, but he was charging $400 for like an autograph, and it's like, who are you exactly? Like I can understand when you have a Patrick Stewart, a William Shatner, somebody like that. It's like they're older. They've kind of been, they have a list of movies a mile long. He had like 2, I think, at that point.
Well, let's try to breeze through this next 3. We had Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd is awesome. I just know that he's a really good guy.
It's Candyman, right?
Candyman.
All right.
And Night of the Living Dead.
For sure.
Right. I'm gonna say 100.
All right, 100.
Yeah, Tony Todd's got that iconic voice where you're just like, how are you and Keith David like not just fist fighting each other every night over roles? Tony Todd is awesome. Yeah. What did you say, Cecil? At 100?
Yeah, I said 100.
Okay, I'm just gonna go 150.
Okay. Wow. Right on the money, Cecil. It's $100 for a Tony Todd cameo.
Nice.
That's amazing.
All right. Next up, we got Chris Sarandon, Prince Humperdinck, Jack Skellington.
Yeah. God, I could see him. I think for him too, he's probably going to be about 100.
Right,
Prince Humperdinck. Right. Where do I know Prince Humperdinck from?
Princess Bride.
Okay. And Jack Skellington from Nightmare.
He's the non-singing voice of Jack Skellington from The Nightmare Before Christmas.
What else has he done?
This and That.
This and That. Okay, fair enough. Jeez, I'm in the minority of people who hate The Nightmare Before Christmas, so I'm going to just say $50.
I feel you. I don't hate it, but I think that it is wildly overrated.
For sure, 100% overrated.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
and I also think that it's funny how the majority of people think that Tim Burton directed it.
Oh yeah, no. Oops. Sorry.
It's Henry Selick, and it's just Tim Burton produced.
Okay. Well, it's $99, so actually Kush gets a point this time. All right. Well, can Kush tie it up, or will Cecil win this one?
Hail Mary.
Last one. Randy Quaid.
Oh God, Randy Quaid. See, he's insane.
Yeah.
So he could either I could see him being like $50 or like $1,000 because he's just like
you gotta throw spaghetti at the wall on this one.
Yeah.
For him, I think I am going to say 150.
I'm going to say $99. He's charging tax. Still on the run? Is he like a fugitive right now?
I don't know.
He was. I don't know about. Yeah, he was.
We like
he was
to have
making
fun on this
videos
show,
in a mask, and he kind of went tits up a while ago.
We like to have fun on this show, folks, but mental illness is no joke. Please take care of yourself and your family. There's an 800 number. Please find it.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said $99.
How we go?
Well, Cecil had a good intuition here because he is charging $1,000 for a cameo. All right. Oh,
do we know how many people are buying that cameo? Like, do they say like 15 out of 12 people love this?
Yeah, you should go check out the reviews for the Randy Quaid's cameo.
Is there any? Serious question. Are there any?
I don't remember looking.
Okay.
But there probably are.
Okay. Wow.
I know
I'm curious to check.
The Andrew Dice Clay ones are hilarious because he's like, if I don't know how much he's charging, but I saw an interview where he was talking and he was like, I want to give people their money's worth. So he's like, so they'll want me to say like hello, and he'll send them like a half-hour long video.
Oh my God.
Wow. So talk about stretching the dollar.
Yeah, where you're like, where the people are like, all right, I don't need all of this. I just needed hey, this is Dice, blah blah blah. But Dice is another one who he's goofy, and I think he's just really bored. He needs
Probably
something
really
to do.
bored.
But
wow.
But wow, Randy Quaid 1,000. That's funny.
Yeah,
man.
there's one review. It's 5 stars, and it just says awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Robyn Seto's Cameo Party.
wish we could do this for another 2.5 hours here. Cecil, what do you got to promote here? YouTube pages, everything. Please drop it on us.
You can find me at Good Bad Flicks on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and I also do an occasional podcast on 1201beyond.com. We used to do a weekly podcast called Radiodrome, but the guy who was running it was my friend Josh. We had been doing it for probably 7 years, and then he went and got himself a girlfriend, and he's going to school and got a job, and he doesn't have enough time for Radiodrome anymore.
It's always the girlfriend.
Now we're doing Retrodrome. We do that about once a month, where we'll take a movie series and we'll talk about it in its entirety. So, or there's like a theme. Like last week, we did the entire filmography of the Barbarian Brothers. And so we talked all about their different films. And that was a lot of fun. We're doing one coming up on, I think, the Night Eyes movies, the Skinemax series. We have people that want us to do, if you've ever heard of Witchcraft. Witchcraft, I think they're up to number 17.
Oh my
they're
goodness.
Terrible.
And they're not pornography?
No, they are. Well, they're softcore pornography.
Oh, all right. Then that makes sense then. Okay.
Yeah, that's why they just keep making them. They used to be kind of shot cheaply, but on film, and it's gotten to the point where now they're just shot on video in like someone's backyard, and they're terrible. They're so bad.
Okay.
I've seen all of them, but because I have something wrong with me. But anyway, so yes, so that's my other thing. So yeah.
Cecil, like I said, I got so many questions here that left unanswered. Can we call on you again to be back on the show sometime in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Robyn Seto, we got only a couple minutes left. What do you do around here?
I do some craft beer reviews called Polite Beer Expressions. Every week on Wednesdays, a new craft beer review goes up on the bosnet.family, so check those out.
Excellent. As for me, Kush and Kai 52. Just dropped New Year's Eve. We're talking about the Queens Gambit, Netflix's biggest series of 2020. Fantastic series. It's actually a fantastic episode. I hope you guys check it out. If you haven't already, well, check it out twice if you have. We got Kush and Kai number 53 coming up. That's going to drop St. Patrick's Day, celebrating 1 full year into the lockdown. We're going to be talking about David Bowie's The Man Who Fell to Earth. That's one of those threads that we pull out of the Queen's Gambit. I think it's one of our best subjects. I think it's one of our best discussions. I recommend you check it out. Sweet Science Cinema. That's coming out January 27th. That's a Wednesday. Me and Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer Jameel Hemphill, we're going to be talking about Creed. Over the next year for 6 months, him and I will be talking about Creed, Raging Bull, The Great White Hype. Just to wet your beak a little bit, tease you with some sweet cinema boxing goodness. New Microdose dropping in the next few days. Len Kabazinski's going to be a part of it. We got a big announcement. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. You're going to check it out. I've been Kush Hayes.
I have been Robyn.
I've been me.
You've been you.
Microdose, 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 yeah, microdose.
From the Bosnet family.
But once all their contracts were done, they took it out in the backyard and shot it.
From the Bosnet family.
Adventures in Heels, here we are. Thank you so much.
Today's guest, Dan Stover, is a longtime friend of mine.
We have big dreams. You know, we want to make our dent in the world.
If you just chase money, you're not going to be on that emotional roller coaster. The only thing that you're going to be tied to is the dollars.
It really is true what they say. It is just a different ball game, maybe even a different sport entirely. It is a very vulnerable experience.
Adventures in Heels, available on all podcast platforms. Exclusively from the Bosnet family.
I told you I wouldn't curse, but I did.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Kush and Kai.
And you're like, oh no, bitch, don't do it.
Kush,
I'm coming for you.
the Queens Gambit.
I wish I had jumped on the train when it had left the station.
I thought it was going to lead to the story about him being gay.
That's
But,
stupid.
yeah.
Syphilis and or hepatitis do not kill you within a week.
He's fucking shit up. Fucking some mousy redheaded bitches.
But
Wait,
before,
I'm about to ask about that.
before we go into that,
The Queen's G. All spoilers.
I want a story where he was actually stabbed by another chess player during a game.
Why does he have the knife?
This motherfucker is racking up thousands of dollars. Okay.
The Queen's Gambit.
Sometimes I get it mixed up with the brother from another planet.
All spoilers.
So if you want to feel like a pipe-smoking, leather-elbowed intellectual,
Kush and Kai.
New Year's Eve
There it is.
from the Bosnet family.